and welcome back to my channel. Last time I made this top and now I'm going to make a matching pair of pants. I am obviously going to use the same fabric as before, which I have a lot left over as I intended. I am so excited to make this, and if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. So these are the pieces I cut out. I actually forgot to film myself cutting them out, but I cut 2 pieces of the front of the pants, 2 of the back, a waistband, belt loops, some pockets, and the fly thing. I added interfacing to the belt loop strip, waistband, and the piece for the fly, as well as the portion where I'm going to add the zipper. I also added interfacing to the pant pieces where the pockets will go, just to keep that spot sturdier when I put stuff in the pockets. And next, I marked out the pleats for the front of the pants and darts for the back of the pants and sewed them all up. The pattern I'm using is actually an old pattern that I got a really long time ago, so I had to change a few parts of it, and to be honest, these pants turned out way baggier than I expected, so I'm not sure if I'll use them again. But I think in this case it turned out fine. To sew the darts, I like to use the method where I don't backstitch the pointed end and instead leave a length of thread that I double knot. I find that this makes the darts look a lot sharper at the point. And I also sewed the pleats, making the pleats go towards the center front. Next, I added the pockets right sized together to the top of each leg of the pants. I put the lining with the front legs and the main fabric with the back leg. This way you won't be able to see the lining. You can just use the main fabric for both if your fabric is already thin, but mine was a little bit on the thicker side, so I wanted less bulk. Then I pinned the front leg to the back leg and sewed up both sides, but I skipped over the pockets so that I don't sew shut the pockets I just sewed in. I also sewed around the edges of the pocket so that now they are functional. Then I got to use my serger to serge up all the seams I just sewed. It's been broken for a while and I finally got to use it, so I was really happy. I honestly don't know how it just randomly started working, but it works now, so I'm not complaining. And this is how it was looking. I really liked how it was coming along. I put one pant leg inside the other, right sized together, and sewed up the crotch portion, but I left open the very front so that I could add in the zipper. I serged that up as well. Next, I needed to add in the zipper. I basted the front close that I just left open when I was sewing the crotch, and then I pinned the zipper as you see me doing here. It just pinned to one of the fly pieces that kind of stick out from the pant pieces. And then I made sure that I switched it out for a zipper foot so that it's easier to sew closer to the zipper, and then I just sewed up where I just pinned. I brought it over to the other side and pinned it there as well. I actually had to sew in a piece here because I accidentally cut this part too short, so there was nowhere to pin it to. And ideally, you would have a much shorter zipper, but I only had a long zipper, so I just had to shorten that. I turned the pants inside out to see if the zipper was in properly, so I undid the basting stitches I made earlier, and yes, it did all work out. To make the thing that goes behind the zipper, I took the rectangular piece and folded it right sides together and sewed it, making a curve along one side. I trimmed the seam allowance and turned it right side out and pressed it flat. To attach it to the pants, it was pretty simple. I just top stitched it behind the left side of the zipper. And at this point, the fly was done and I really liked how it was looking, but I also realized that the pleats looked really weird. They were way too close to the center front, so I undid all the pleats and repleated it so that it looked better. To make the belt loops, I took this strip of fabric and folded each side in to the center before folding the whole thing in half, which I top stitched on both sides. Then I cut it into 5 equal pieces. And they should look something like this. I spaced them evenly all around the top of the pants and pinned them in place so they would be where I needed them when I attached the waistband. I put one in the back, one in each side of the side back, and one on each side of the side front. Then as you can see here, I went on to working on the waistband, which I started out by sewing in my tag to the center back. I pinned the waistband all the way around the top of the pants, making sure that it sticks out both ends and that the tag will be oriented correctly once I fold it over. Then I sewed it all up. And for the ends that stick out, I folded it over right sides to right sides and sewed it down right where the pants end. The reason I didn't do it before is so that I can ensure that the length of the waistband will fit perfectly to the length of the top of the pants. I cut off the corners and the excess seam allowance so that we can flip it over and sew down the other side. Once I flipped it over, I turned in the seam allowance of the side that wasn't sewn down yet and pinned it down, covering the seam allowance of the side that is sewn down. I used the stitch in the ditch method, sewing from the right side, making sure the stitches are catching the unsewn fabric. Once that was done, I attached the other side of the belt loops. One side should already be sewn in from when we put in the waistband, but to attach the other side, I just did a few stitches to secure it in place. And now to hem the bottom, I first cut the bit off because it was a little too long when I tried it on. I just did the basic rolled hem for this. And I forgot to show you the completed waistband, but this is what it was looking like. The last thing to do was to add a closure above the zipper. I used this wide hook thing, but a button also works perfectly fine. And I hand sewed this part in because I don't think you can do this with a machine, and you just want to make sure that the stitches aren't visible from the outside. And once that was done, it was fully complete. I really like this matching pair of pants to go along with my top. I do wish it was a little more fitted, but I think that's okay. That's for the next time I make a pair of pants. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and see you next time.